Welcome to Read Between the Lines, a book podcast. I am your host, Molly Southgate, and today I'm interviewing
Detina Zalli and Argita Zalli.
Oh, thank you both so much for coming on today. How are you guys doing?
We're good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, can you tell me a bit about yourselves and your book?
Sure. My name is Detina. I'm the youngest twin. We are both twins. I'm a twin with Argita, and I'm a 5-minute younger twin. Although scientifically speaking, to be honest, it's equally to 6 months. At least this is what they say. I am a senior academic. I have worked at prestigious universities, including Harvard University in the US, University of Oxford in the UK, University of Cambridge. I'm really passionate about science and STEM and also space. And I'm also a mom of 2 beautiful boys, Destin and Soleil. And I think that's it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. And what about you?
And Detina forgot to mention that she's also a wife. Detina. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, I'm Argita, and I mean, usually when they say describe yourself, I'll go for the academic way. But today, I think it's different, and we were bringing our story into this amazing podcast. So I'll describe myself authentically as a woman of strength and resilience. I'm blessed with incredible parents and 2 amazing kids, Amos and Ambrose, and then a loving spouse and a wonderful twin sister. I have ambitious aspirations in my life, and I'm very passionate about science, medicine, and education. I view life as a precious opportunity to create a positive impact and share love, beginning from my family and extending to the wider world. And I make it my purpose for every day. I strive to grow, to become a better person, and overcome any obstacles and achieve success.
Wow, that is incredible. Thank you so much for describing yourself authentically and stuff. And writing is something that is always vulnerable, no matter what kind you're doing, and it's important to present yourself as you are. So what made you want to start writing your story?
I mean, it started back when we began this journey to come to the UK. We were kids at the time. We were 13 years old, and we witnessed in our eyes, through our eyes, an incredible, powerful story, powerful truths, and authentic story that we never thought was surrounding us. So it was a story to be told, the story of many Albanian refugees who sacrificed their life for a better future. And they did that by trusting foreigners, other people in the country. Sometimes they were criminals in order to save them from Albania, who in that time was undergoing civil war. And we thought this truth must be told. And we decided that we were going to write a book in Boulogne, actually, in Paris, in France, when we were waiting to get inside the lorries that would take us to Folkestone or Dover in UK.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. What was it like for you having to go to another country when you were so young and having to flee like that?
I mean, yes, it was a difficult experience. As a children, we always thought of coming to the US or coming to the UK would have been, the most amazing place of the world. And I'm not saying they are not. But in reality, what we experience as children or as teenagers is something that we did not expect. That is because instead of playing with bikes or dolls or going to Disneyland or having fun with friends, as most of the teenagers do, we took big responsibilities, which meant that we became parents of our parents. Because we spoke well English, we had to
be problem solvers. That meant that often we had to go to social services in the UK to talk about our UK status, which was very undecided because we were afraid of going back to Albania. We spent many, many months and years in hospitals translating for other refugees who needed help. We started working since 13 years old because we needed to pay the debts that our parents had in Albania, because the journey to the UK cost us a lot of money. And in addition to this, we had to go to school and study. So in the UK, the life that we had imagined was not really the reality. It was very different from a teenager's dream. But thank you to these experiences, and thanks to all the work that we've done, we have made ourselves stronger. We have a very strong sense of humanity, of helping others. And it's thanks to those experiences that we are today who we are.
That is so incredible. Speaking of your work with kind of helping our world, can you share a little bit about your nonprofits? I was looking into them and they both sound so incredible.
Yeah, so we have two nonprofits. One of them is We Speak Science, and this is non-profit organization. We've created STEM courses to help people worldwide, and these are all free courses that we have been designing, developing, and delivering with a team who is very ambitious and who has the same the same purpose as we do, which is to spread knowledge in countries that are not funded and where the knowledge lacks. We also have a charity called Argita, that's our mom's name. It's a charity that helps cancer patients by providing them with up-to-date, relevant information on cancer treatments, what these are, and what it means for patients undergoing chemotherapy. And this initiative was initiated because a lot of people in Albania, in particular, do not have this knowledge because of how the medical system works. And by inviting oncologists throughout the world and scientists and other speakers who have a profound knowledge of cancer and biology, we transmit to these people the knowledge that they need to know in a very simple way, so that they can be sure of what the drugs are, what do they do, and how they affect themselves, basically.
That is such a oh, I'm sorry. That is such incredible, important work. Thank you so much for doing all of those things. I know I'm sure everyone listening to this has had someone close to them who's had cancer, and it's so important to really know what everything does. So more about the writing process. What are some things that you did to get into the proper headspace? Because I'm sure it has to be kind of heavy to write your own life.
Well, we always knew that we were going to write. We always knew that we were going to write a book ever since we were very young, teenagers. We thought that hearing our voice would be important to let the world know that there is another world out there that exists, that these are people, refugees, who are people with hope for a better future, that are people who can work hard and who can change the economy or of a country, who never give up and who fight to give their children a better future. Therefore, we started writing. We thought the writing process was actually very easy for us, because essentially we're just telling our own story. Of course, when you write your own story, you also have many different memories. Some of those memories are difficult memories, are memories of suffering, but there are also memories of victory and resilience, which show that our strength was because we never gave up.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say that we were definitely very organized, and we kind of established a routine, like a consistent writing routine. Set aside and a dedicated time that we could, start writing and finish the chapter off. We also wrote, by at nighttime sometimes when we had a trigger or something, we noted down the details of what that was. And every time that we got inspiration, we kind of wrote it in a piece of paper, and then we started typing it in the computer. I think, as Detina mentioned, the story itself had possessed such clarity and authenticity that it kind of unfolded naturally, almost kind of outlining itself. We kind of narrated events as they occurred, presenting them in a kind of a raw and genuine sequence, because we wanted to allow the audience to immerse themselves completely in the book and feel every emotion, whatever it was: love, fear, strength, insecurity, or disappointment, as if they were personally experiencing what we were experiencing at the time. But what I have to say about the book is that throughout the book, there is this spirit of an unwavering warrior that gives a message of never giving up, never surrendering.
That's incredible. And yeah, when I was researching you guys, and so much of your branding and everything is all about hope, and I love that, because we need more stories of hope and inspiration and everything.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so
So,
much.
how did your co-writing process look like? I know you were explaining a bit of it there, but were you in the same room as you were writing? Did one of you write a chapter and then send it to the other, or was it different every time?
Yeah, so basically, I was in the US where we're editing the book. So basically, and Argita was in the UK. So, whoever got inspired wrote first. So sometimes Argita was writing another chapter from her memories, and the other time I was writing another chapter. So basically, because we have and we are identical twins, but we also have very similar writing style, we always try to follow up from each other. And after each chapter, we would meet and we would discuss if we had forgotten any memories that we didn't put in the book, and just making sure that we put as much information as we could remember.
And funny enough, when we were discussing, we're talking about the book and the chapters, we, by talking about it, we came up with, we reminded ourselves of other details that we had forgotten. When you talk to someone, it triggers a memory, and then it kind of unfolds naturally. So that was the beauty of it, because the story was so clear, and we had to. It's a nonfiction. We experienced everything ourselves. It didn't need to, it kind of the structure, the outline created itself. And yeah, it was a great experience, and I think this is the project that we are mostly proud of, because it's our story, and our kids are going to read it one day. They're going to know about where we came from, our roots, and the sacrifices that our parents, especially our parents, did to get us where we are today.
That is such a beautiful thing, and such a beautiful legacy to leave for your kids and everything you were saying. So you mentioned that you had the idea when you were young teenagers, but when did you start writing the book?
So we basically start. Actually, it's a very sad episode, but it's also an episode of hope, because we actually started writing while we were in Boulogne, France, where we were hiding from the French police. It was night. It was 2 a.m. in the night, and they had the police had torches. We were in a scary place, hiding from the truck, hiding under the trucks. And while police, it was just like a movie scene where the police with torches were looking for refugees. They knew that refugees would go inside the truck in order to come to the UK, because this was something known from them. Many refugees did it before us. So in order for us to feel more secure and not to think about who was there looking for us, obviously as teenagers, you think, oh my God, the police is going to catch me, is going to put me to prison. What is going to happen to my parents? So we found a dirty piece of paper and we had a pen. So we just started writing, taking notes, what was happening. And while we're doing this, it also fostered a sense of security that we were together. And it made us forget the fear that was surrounding us. It gave us hope, and it was like a light at the end of the tunnel.
And actually, I remember an episode like when we were in Bologna before it got dark. We had this luggage that my parents got with them, because you see, my parents thought they were going to travel by plane. So this was a lie for us. We didn't know that we were going to go by trucks. We were shocked when we found out. So of course, my dad and my mom had 2 big luggages. They had inside there the most precious gift that relatives, their parents, had given them for their wedding as a present. And inside the luggage, there was a camera. But in 1999 in Albania, no people had camera. This camera was a special gift given to my dad from a friend in Greece. So his Albanian friend had immigrated to Greece, and he had given him this camera. And I got the camera, and my dad asked me, "What are you doing with the camera? Why are you taking it?" I was like, "Dad, I'm going to take a picture of every single person here, of how it looks outside." They were actually lying on the grass in a rainy day, because I'm going to write a book one day and I need this picture. And he said to me, "Don't do that. Don't make that mistake." And he grabbed the camera and he put it back in the luggage. And he did say that because the people that were traveling with us, some of them were, we didn't know what they were, basically. They were young boys. They had young girls with them. My dad suspected that they had taken these girls out for prostitution purposes. So he was very scared that if we did something that we shouldn't do, of course we were 13 years old, nobody would protect us. Like my dad would protect us, but there were, so many guys out there and with girls, and there was only one family. Apart from us, there was one family with a baby boy who was 3 months old. So, of course, the situation was terrific. And in the time in Albania, a lot of girls were taken for prostitution purposes. And this was what scared my dad.
Yeah, that makes sense. That is so terrifying. I think that first part of what you were saying, though, about the like writing to kind of like keep yourself distracted, and also engage with everything that's happening around you, and remember that really speaks to some of the power of art through those really hard times and kind of keeping yourself afloat a bit. Do you want to speak on that at all? Can you speak up to writing and photography and everything, how that can really
Yeah, I wish we could have a picture. I really wish we could have an image so we could share with the world. But all our images are inside our head. And what we try to do is we try to explain it through the writing process, so that the audience can actually feel the raw emotion that's going through while we were taking those steps in Bologna, while we were getting on the lorry, inside the lorry where they were, we had to go from the top. So there were 2 guys. We had to put our feet on the top of their hands. They had to pull up, and then there's one guy inside the truck. He had to pull up us from the top of the truck and not from the door. And the reason behind that was that the French police knew that the immigrants would go inside the truck, and they would usually check the doors if they were broken or if, there was a cut. So if we had to go from the very top, that wouldn't be noticeable, basically. So that's what we did. And when we went inside, we found, to our surprise, that the truck was filled full of dogs and cats food. So it was like cans of dogs and cats food, and everyone was very, very quiet because you couldn't whisper. The police was everywhere. So it was a very terrifying experience, but I think what we felt at the time was numbness. When you're numb because everything is going, it's too much, everything is happening so fast. You didn't know anything of that, but you are here now, you're there, so you have no choice but to get going, because you have no other option, and you don't think too much about the fear at that point, because you can't. There's too many emotions around you, and I guess you have to protect yourself in a way. That's why you're numb, because you're kind of numbing your feelings, and you have to protect yourself for the time being. Then you'll have time to express your emotions when you
Oh,
go through.
that's absolutely. It's when you're just in that trauma mode, and there's kind of no way but to be numb in that moment. I completely understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this book was such a long process, and like it sounds like a labor of love. You put a lot of your life into this. What was it like when it was finished?
We were very happy. As Argita said, we have been at world-class institution working with the best in the world, including Nobel Prize laureates. But to us, this is the most important project of our life, because this is truly who we are. And the message that we wanted to give to the audience, which was a message of hope, a message of never giving up, a message of persistence, a message of love overall and unity. It's a strong message that we need all in our life, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many degrees you have, or how many courses you've taught, or how many great certificates or things you have achieved. What matters in life is love. What impact have you done to other people's life? And we believe with our book, we have affected many different refugees, audiences who really look up to us, who now think that there is a hope for them too, because we did it, they can do it too. So this is the most important message that we want to transmit throughout book.
I also wanted to add that, some people see us as, oh, they have won everything, they're victorious, and, everything is going absolutely fine in their life. I think what I want to focus on as well is talking about failures, that we have failed. We have failed many times. We've been disappointed many times. We didn't get where we are today without failures and without disappointment. I think what's important to emphasize is that it's okay to fail, as long as you learn from your failures and from your mistakes, as long as you get up every time you fall. And it's okay to, have bad days and, not feel well, not to be okay at times. But what's important is to keep going and keep trying, because where you will go, the destination that you will achieve, will be dependent on who you are and how much strength you've got, how much desire you have to reach for your dreams.
The other thing that I wanted to mention briefly is that I would like to give the message to people that I don't believe in failure, because failure, I would rather consider failure as a small successes, small steps of success, because they will teach us what not to do in the future. So it's a learning experience, and it's something that we all go through. And as Argita said, we have had these little successes throughout our life. There are good days, there are bad days. What's important is to never give up, to always think that there is hope. There's another day, and tomorrow is a new day.
Absolutely. And to have those successes and stuff, you do need that failure, just like what you were saying, because it teaches you how to have that, and it takes hard work where you both have gone your whole journey and all of your degrees and all of the incredible work that you've done with your lives. Like it's very difficult. And a lot of people couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So what was it like to kind of go into the editing process with a book that was this personal for both of you and choosing what to leave in from your life and what to take out, and what was that like for this?
I mean, we had to be authentic as possible. We just wanted to give the audience the true story behind the scenes. You know, especially in UK media initially, there's a lot of news about refugees getting on the trucks, coming to UK illegally, and there is a lot because that's what they do. And there's also negative publicity at times about the refugees, which is true because they have done those things that they've done. But I guess we wanted also to share an authentic story of how refugees can also be a positive, be a positive change, and can make a positive impact in the society and in the community, and give back to the society, with all the knowledge and all the support that they have got through in UK. So we just wanted to share that with the world and provide an authentic picture that yes, Albanian refugees have done X, Y, Z, but there are also Albanian refugees who have made a positive change in the society. And that's it had to be as authentic as possible. Of course, we changed the names of the people that we have kind of worked, that we have met throughout the journey, because the identity has to be hidden. But other than that, the story is as authentic as it could have been. Yeah,
That's incredible.
I don't know whether you wanted to add anything else, Detina.
The only thing that I wanted to add is that I just wanted to remind people that only in 2021, 6 Nobel Prize laureates in the US were basically foreigners. They were not born in the United States. So just by saying this, I hope it clarifies to people the impact that immigrants may have in different countries, in different host countries. And the important message I want to share is the fact that cultural diversity, unity, working together in collaboration, it is this our main purpose, and also the main force that will give us the strength to go forward.
Absolutely. And in this country, we definitely need more cultural diversity and more support for immigrants and everything. And stories like this can help move the needle and change things. I just have one last question for you today, and that is, what do you have coming up?
Well, we have different projects coming up. We're hoping to give different talks to empower people, to give them lessons on how to lead, how to never give up, where we can share our story, hopefully internationally, not only in the UK, but in the US, abroad as well.
And also be as authentic as we are, and also focus on the failures a lot, because a lot of people don't accept failures, or they see failures as a drawback. And also just a message of it's okay to be insecure sometimes. We don't have the answers of what's coming tomorrow. All we know is that we are going to work hard with a lot of passion and love to achieve our dream of making a positive impact in the world, not only in UK, but throughout the Europe, in the States, in Canada, and share our experiences, our life experiences, and hope to make a positive impact and change the lives of many people, and inspire the young teenagers or the youngsters to do the best they can, achieve the best they can in their life by making the right decisions.
Oh, that is all absolutely amazing. I hope that everyone listening to this goes out, buys your book, does so much research into both of you because you're so fantastic and absolutely inspirational. And thank you so much for coming on today. This was really excellent.
Thank
Oh,
you so
thank you
much,
so
Molly.
much. You are so
I,
sweet. Thank you very much.
oh, you both are. Yeah, so for Read Between the Lines, my name is Molly Southgate.
I am Detina Zalli.
And I'm Argita Zalli.
Let's end this the way all great stories end. Happily ever after,
The
the
end.
end.
Thank you for listening to Read Between the Lines, a book podcast. You can follow the show on Instagram and Facebook at Read Between the Lines Podcast and on Twitter at RBTL Podcast. Make sure to follow the authors who I've been talking to hear all about their upcoming projects, and also because they're cool people. This show is hosted by me, Molly Southgate, and produced and edited by my dad, Rob Southgate. Read Between the Lines is a Southgate Media Group production, and you can find all the great content put on by the network at southgatemediagroup.com. You can read the story of how I and many other podcasters started in the anthology book Pod Life, which you'll find at the link in the show notes. Also in the show notes are links to buy the books featured on this episode. Using those links supports this show and the incredible authors being interviewed. Have a great week and keep reading.